Welcome back to the workshop of Wood Spun Round. This is Doug, and it is great to have you back in the shop with me today. We're going to redo this bowl. Some chameleon colors on it. You saw just a glimpse of it there as we got started, and it looked great. I loved it, but I took it to a couple of craft shows, and I was getting ready to put it in a store, and lo and behold, the rim had some blemishes on it. Between traveling back and forth and being packed up and people handling it and all of that kind of thing, it just had a couple of places I really did not like. It was letting the black undercoat show through, and so I decided to bring it home and I'd put it on back on the lathe, and we'll take all that off, redo it completely, so it looks great for whoever might want to buy it. So that's what we're doing here. I've put it on a glue block. That's why it's not exactly straight. It's not running smoothly. I wasn't too worried about it because my only operation here, intended operation, is to sand. I will break out a bowl gouge at one point to take off what you see, that little black line you see. That's actually a groove that I cut into it. And I'll take some of that away with the bowl gouge very carefully. But for the most part, I'm going to do 99% with sandpaper. So that's what we're doing here. I'm checking actually to see how true it is and how fast I go without getting messed up. And this is my bowl gouge, my 1/2-inch bowl gouge that I use so much. And we're just trying to take off a little bit more of that rim, get rid of some of the wood so that I don't have to sand completely through that little groove. I'm not turning very fast, and so this isn't going very well. And my tool is sharp, but it's just not doing what I want it to. So we're going to swipe at it another time or two. Then we're going to go back to the sandpaper. And it doesn't take long. Once I decide to go back to sandpaper, I do get that taken care of pretty quickly. The intent here is to go back to raw wood so that I have a fresh palette to start with. It's one thing to refinish something. This has multiple layers. There was paint, there was size glue, there was the chameleon powder itself. It had lacquer on top of the chameleon powder. Wasn't much lacquer. I think I only put 2 coats on it. I was just trying to give it a little protection, and it just didn't do what I wanted. I think maybe I did not allow the paint to dry as well as it should have before I put the powder on, and so it was still soft underneath. But you can see there that line is still there, but I don't like the way it's bumping around, and so we're just going to get the sandpaper back to it, clean it up. It doesn't take me just a few more minutes after this. Okay, it is sanded. I'm just cleaning up that outer side just a little bit where I went over the edge with sandpaper, and of course you can't blend sanding very well, or I can't. So I went pretty well all the way to the bottom, and my thought is I don't need to go all the way through the finish that's on there. Just need to smooth it up, clean it up, and then I can put some more finish on there and it'll be fine. We'll take it from the original 80 grit, and we'll go all the way to 320. Sanding by hand. There was no mechanical sanding here. I could have sped it up a little bit by using the drill, but there really wasn't much point. I was wanting to take my time and do it well, do it correctly to begin with, so just by hand. All right, just finishing up the sanding here. making sure it's where I want it. I've gone through all my grits. We're gonna blow it off good, blow me off good. Didn't have a lot on me. I do have the dust collector on, the air cleaner is on, so most of the dust was going where it's supposed to go, being collected up so that it can be taken out later. A little bit around, but that residual is not very much. And giving it a good inspection, making sure we're in great shape. Now I can get rid of that tailstock. You see I've got a soft touch on the end of my live center. That's just a piece of wood that's been drilled, tapped, so it goes onto my live center threads there. Got a little sanding sealer we're going to put on here. I want to put that on. Gives it kind of a base for that paint to stick to. Yeah, the paint will go in and stick to the wood very well, but that first coat tends to go into the wood a bit more. This sanding sealer will help it. It still sticks very well, but it doesn't allow the paint to go as deep into the wood should I need to redo it again. I don't think I will, but just in case. We'll give that a couple of minutes to dry. It doesn't take very long. And then we'll come back and put our base coat of black on. The black is used because it gives a reflective background for the Chameleon powder. Without the black, the Chameleon powder works, but it doesn't work as well. And so I've just taken a Scotch-Brite there, knocked that sanding sealer back, and now we're going to put on the black base coat. And I'll go ahead and apologize right now. We're actually going to put 2 coats of this black on, but I don't know what happened to my footage, but I lost the footage of applying the size, which is the glue that's used for the powder. It's like a gold leafing size, and the application of the powder itself. I just failed somehow. I don't know what happened. It's not there. Could be my fault. I may have not hit the start button. It's one of those things. I can't bet on it, but I'm pretty sure I hit the start button, but it's not there. Anyway, just drying off that first coat, making sure it's good and dry. Then we're going to put a second coat on. The second coat is mostly just to ensure that I have no spots that I missed. I didn't want any spots to be missed, and I want a nice even coat all the way around. And so putting on a second coat, it doesn't take but just a couple of minutes. And this is an acrylic paint. It dries very quickly, and so not that big a deal to take the time, go ahead and put it on. And it is going on much smoother than the first coat did. Here I'm just drying it. I've got a hairdryer. You see the nozzle there. This is one that's dedicated to the shop. My wife had purchased a new hairdryer and gave me this one. She volunteered it. There I am starting to apply the size. So I know I had the camera on at one point. And I will say this as well, that the one thing that I learned on this, that size really ought to be put on with a slightly larger brush for this large space so that it can be put on smoothly. You see all the little jabby strokes that I'm making. That's great when painting a picture. It gives texture, but it shows up later. Here you see the size or the Chameleon powder on. I realized that my camera was not on. I went and turned it on, and so I've got a nice shot there, and I'll show you a couple of stills. Thanks. I sure appreciate you coming along and watching. If you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe, hit the like button, and until we meet again, I hope you're able to spin them around.